Hello, in this video we'll have a look at the piral-tracking plugin. We start by installing the plugin to the app shell. In this case I'm using the next version. The app shell is based on Piral Core. So if you're using the full Piral framework, the integration after installation may look a little bit different. What you'll do is you'll add Piral in case of a plugins array, and the plugin here is called Tracking API. Now with the Tracking API in place, you get a couple new APIs in your pilots. So what you have in here is track error, track event and track frame. What we could now do is that we will add an event when the register page was called. This can be done as simple as the following. We just introduce a new side effect and only on mount we call the track event, and we will specify an event name, and we can just call it example page mounted. And that's about it. Now let's see how this looks like when we start the application. Let's see if it builds. Oh, looks all good. Let's enter the page. Let's go to example. And not much happened on the network level. Also, nothing here really happened here. Now, in order to fully use this, we would still need to set it up correctly. And the way to do that is via the event system. So what we can do is that we just have a look here. And yeah, we need to have the right name. There are a couple of hints here, of course, how they are called. You can always read about them, but the simplest way is to just hook on and handle these track events here. So what I'll do is I'll just now copy this code here, track event, and then forward it to the console actually. Let's do that. And we already get it called here. So track event was called, and this is what we got in. We got the name, example page mounted, the pilot that is originated was the example pilot. There are no properties given, there are no measurements specified. We could do all that in the pilot. So these are the optional arguments. So properties and measurements. A measurement could have, for instance, a mount time, 13, I don't know, would be delivered by some measurement. And properties would be maybe the user ID, 29. Let's save this. Let's have a look. And as you can see, now the properties and the measurements are properly populated here. Now what can you do with this? Well, usually you would just forward that to your tracker. The documentation that we've seen in the README has one example with application insights, but it's as simple as that to also integrate, for instance, Google Analytics. So here you could, for instance, push it to your data layer and say push my event there, or likewise. So any kind of tracking solution that you may want to use, you can now just hook on the Piral event, and now you can make use of that. And the beauty of it is, since this is an event, you could even have your Google Analytics or so integration in another pilot that you can activate or deactivate based on, for instance, some preferences of the end user. And that way you also legally conform to whatever target market you are aiming at.